Sorry about the delay. My clicker is still not working to start the video when I want to. First thing I want to talk about for the wallet pattern, for the 6x10 wallet pattern, is the pieces of fabric that you're cutting out. There's going to be 3 pieces that are 6x6 and a half, and there's 1 piece that's 6x6. The 6x6 piece of fabric you want to press in half to make it 6x3, and the pretty sides are on the outside. It's just pressed in half. One of the pieces of the 6.5 by 6, you just press in half, and it's going to be 3 1/4 by 6. Pretty sides to the outside. The last 2 pieces of the 6.5 by 6, you fold in half and press it so it's 6 by 3 1/4. Okay? And after that, you're going to take 3/8 of an inch on each of the long sides with raw edges and press that down, 3/8 of an inch here and 3/8 of an inch here. So that is going to make this 6 inches long by just shy of 3 inches. You want to make sure that you have this piece correctly. If it's too long, your wallet may not close correctly. So let's make sure we're really careful on these 2, especially all of them, but these 2. This to me is the hardest part, just getting your fabric prepared. And I've done so. I've got my fabric all prepared, and I ran the first stitch for the outside or back side of the wallet, and that is going to always be ran first. After you run this one, you will lay your batting, and for batting today, I'm out of batting and I'm using fleece, and I kind of like using fleece. I use it a lot in the Hoop Baby bibs. Instead of the batting, it's softer, it's so washable, and with bibs you wash them a lot. So you lay that down covering the lines, and then you put your next piece of fabric for the outside. The outside and the inside are the same size fabric cut, and then you lay that on top with a pretty side facing upward. So all of my placement lines are covered, and now I'm going to bring it to the machine, and I'm going to run 2 stitches on it, 2 next colors on it. The first one is going to tack down the wallet, and the second one is going to do some quilting all over it, and I'm going to come back to you as soon as those 2 are done. We actually ran 3 colors, and I'm going to explain those to you. We ran the tack down color, and I did it in yellow because I wanted it to match the yellow background of the wallet, and then we did the quilting as well. And then I went ahead and ran the next color, and the next color was the placement for the Velcro. Now, you could skip that and the next step, which is the tack down for the Velcro, if you want to add snaps. To add snaps, once your quilting is done, and the quilting also includes some folding lines for later, for the folds of the wallet. So once that would be done, then you would stop, you would pull your fabric off from the hoop, and then you would add 1 part of your snap, 1 1/4 inch up in the center, and you'd put that right there. Your flat piece would be in the back, and then you'd probably want to have the female part of the snap right here, if that makes sense, so that when you fold the other part over, you have the male part and snap that in place. But what we're going to do is we're going to add 1 piece of Velcro. I'm going to add it right here. We can tape it in place if we'd like. And I'm going to tack that down as my final step of this wallet, and I'm going to tack it down in white so it doesn't really show. Okay? And then we'll be able to start on the inside, where the pockets for the cards and the money are in the wallet. All right, great. Back. Okay, so our last step of the outside of the wallet was to tack down the Velcro. And I started doing it in the wrong color, just a little bit right there, but it looks good still. So then we just pull that out from the stabilizer, and we're just going to set that aside. Then I added to my machine the inside, where the card holders and the wallet money part goes for the wallet. I did the first color, which was the placement line for the wallet. I did the second color, which was the tack down. So basically I laid the piece of fabric on top of here, pretty side out again, and it tacked it down. And then I ran the third color, and the third color is the placement lines for the card holders. Now, the card holder placement line I did in green. It's kind of hard to see still, I bet you. But there's a little line that goes in toward the wallet here and here. and that will be where you place the very top, the fold of the two pieces of fabric that we folded in half and pressed, but we did not press the inside edges. These two pieces, all we did was we folded them in half. The 6 by 6 we made 6 by 3, and the 6.5 by 6 we made 6 by 3.25. We're going to stack them like that so the folds are staggered, the bottoms are even. We're going to put them on here, in that placement line at top is where we're putting the top of it. So that has the fold will be inside the wallet. There's raw edges to each side and to the bottom, and they extend beyond the wallet, so it's going to be tacked down here, 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 and then there's going to be a middle part tacked down there. You might want to tape it in place, but this is how it's stacked. So your fold is upward, your fold is staggered. The raw edges are even on all the other edges. And we're going to bring that back to the machine, and we're going to tack that down, and then we'll come back to you. What we did is we went ahead and we tacked down the card lines. These are the cards are going to be put. And I did a pretty decorative stitch in between both the card sides. So you'll have room for 4 different sets of cards. And I ran the next step as well, which was the divider lines. Do you remember we did those in the front as well? So we have the divider lines in place as well. And then the next color, and that is the placement of the money or stamps or, you know, the wallet section of the wallet. And again, I did it in green. And again, there's little lines that go inward. I know they're hard to see, that go inward inside the wallet, and that's going to be the top. I didn't do a straight across because, you know, you're going to see a little bit of that otherwise. Even when you open the cash part, you'll see the line across. And so I just did little tabs there and there. Now for placing those 2 wallet pieces, these pieces are going to be stacked. Do you remember those pieces that we pressed under 3/8 of an inch? Those are going to go just beyond the bottom of this line. Just a little bit beyond the bottom of this line. And the top, the fold, is going to go just at or just above these little lines right here. And you may want to tape that one in place so it doesn't move, but these are not staggered, these are stacked. And they're going to go in like this. And then our next step is going to tack those down. And I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to come back before we do the, and I'm going to do the placement for the Velcro and the tack down of the Velcro because it's very similar to the front. And then I'm going to come back and we're going to show you the final step together. Some people don't like to do 2 hoopings for a project, and I did want to show you this last step really carefully before I run it. So we're going to do those couple things, and we're going to come. Here we have it. We tack down the wallet part here, here, and here, right at the very edge. It did not go over the fold line. Of course, you don't want it to go over the fold line. And then we did the placement and the tack down for the Velcro. Very similar to the front. This final step is the one that seems to make people a little bit nervous. I can see why first time might be a little scary doing something that has 2 hoopings, but you just are going to line up all your lines. I would set this down a table, and I'm going to do that in a second, and just make sure they're all lined up. Pull it up at the corner and check, and then maybe tape that in place. Pull this corner up, check, tape it in place. Just work your way around a little bit and put it in place. And then you're going to bring it back to the machine, and it's going to stitch all around here, leaving just a small hole for turning. At that point, then after it's stitched, you're going to trim around the edges. Pretty good, but you know, leave a little bit. Obviously, you don't want to snip any stitches. And at the turn hole, trim your batting, but not your fabric too much. Leave a little extra there because you're going to tuck that in later and stitch it closed. But once you have that trim, you're going to want to flip it right side out and then press it really well. And press those, the fold lines as well. Fold it at the fold lines and press it so that it's going to fold nicely. And then we're going to finally stitch that little hole closed and you'll be done. But I'm going to, right now, put it back in the machine after I carefully line everything up. I'm going to stitch around here. I'm going to trim and I'm going to flip it right side out and press it, and I'm going to come back and see y'all, okay? have it. I trimmed around the edges, I flipped it right side out, and I even stitched the turn hole. I use the placement lines as a guide for stitching them. And if you were going to do a snap instead, now you put your snap through these two layers here, and then it would match up with this snap, and you snap it shut. And I wanted to add a snap on this one, but the original format was Velcro, so I decided to go with the original first. And then the 6x10 size doesn't fit an unfolded bill. So for American or US dollars, I just fold it in half and put it inside. And then, oh, I got my pesos. Getting ready to go to Mexico. Pesos are a little smaller, so they fit in there nicely. Then down here we have driver's license. I have my health card, and then it just turns. It folds right at that turn line. Now you want to make sure that you have this flipped all the way. Use a chopstick or use something to make sure you have that whole bottom, because you need it. You're going to need that too. Use that line as a fold line right there, the one that's stitched, and then use that top line as well. I press those in place, and then you have your wallet.